Hello, Seattle and various other parts of the world. This is All Things Considered because I consider all things. I wanted to speak to you about Amazon and how the owner of Amazon is screwing over the workers of Amazon. Now this is from October 13th of 2017. I tried to find something that's a little bit more current, but the thing is that this is going to be about as current as you can get at the moment. This is entitled Jeff Bezos, B-E-Z-O-S, Bezos, screws over workers at Amazon. Now he wants to do the same thing at the Washington Post. Can Silicon Valley's anti-labor attitude survive actual contact with a labor union? Jeff is very much against the labor unions because it would eat into his profits. Like most of the industry titans in the world of big tech, Amazon billionaire Jeff Bezos is no fan of labor. If I pronounce his name wrong, write it in the comments and tell me, explain how you pronounce his last name. The Amazon billionaire Jeff Bezos is no fan of labor unions. Since 1994, he fended away every effort by Amazon warehouse workers to unionize. The owner of Amazon looks at you like this. You're a dime a dozen. You're a cog in a big wheel. You're not that important. If you were to quit your job, within a split second there'd be somebody taking your spot. And Amazon would not lose a minute of sleep over it. But when Bezos purchased the Washington Post in 2013, he inherited more than 1,200 workers unionized with the Washington-Baltimore News Guild. That's a news union for people that are working the news. That union now claims that Bezos and Washington Post management are trying to gut protections and benefits for workers in the latest contract negotiations. Under the Bezos ownership, we fear a fundamental transformation is underway at the Post, one that is occurring in many other workplaces around the country, leading to economic insecurities for working people as though we are disposable or interchangeable elements in a machine. Remember, you're a part in a big cog. That's the way he looks at you. He doesn't value you, just like Steve Jobs and Apple. He didn't look at the programmers as somebody who were important. He looked at the menial guy as just somebody who can just be replaced. Oh, what you're doing is not important. It's no big deal. An ape, a chimpanzee, or a giraffe, or some other non-functioning animal with any kind of IQ could do your job. It says here, under Bezos' ownership, we fear a fundamental transformation is underway at the Post, one that is occurring in many other workplaces around the country, leading to economic security for working people as though we are disposable and interchangeable elements in a machine. The Union Bargaining Committee wrote in a memo sent to the Post employees on October 6th of last year, October 6th of 2016 or 2017. According to the memo, managements want to end the paper's long-standing practice of across-the-board percentage annual pay raises to create an unprecedented merit pay system and cut severance benefits. It also refuses to increase the 401k match from 1%. The merit system would potentially freeze even inflation adjustments increased in pay for some employees for up to 30 months, which means that the cost of living goes up, but your pay raise doesn't go up. while others could get up to a 4% increase. Management has also proposed to cut severance pay and require any employee who accepts severance to waive their legal rights. When you do away with routine raises, only the superstar reporters will wind up getting them. This would leave copy editors, video editors, and others who are not the face of the paper on the losing end and increase inequality within the company. How does that deal with Amazon? I'll tell you in a little bit. Management has also offered a fallback proposal that will give employees a $600 pay in the first year and then an $8 pay raise per week in the second year. The proposal comes with the added threat of an even worse proposal if the unions does not agree to the current terms by November 1st of last year. The bargaining committee said in its memo. The bargaining committee has called management's proposal a terrible, short-sighted, moral-destroying proposal that would deliver real pain to many employees and transform a team enterprise into a collection of salary winners and losers. The Post declined to comment for the article that I'm reading to you. It isn't as though money is tight for the Post. Profits and revenues are up, and digital subscriptions have tripled. The paper has hired a huge amount of talent, and its reporters have broken numerous major stories about the Trump administration. Even if the paper wasn't profitable, it is backed by one of three wealthiest people in the world. Bezos is worth an estimated almost unfathomable $84 billion. He's worth that much. $84 billion. Yeah, I'm not against people becoming rich, but when you screw over the little guy to stay rich, that's where I draw the line, and I get fucking pissed. This is just and I don't order from Amazon. Well, I take that back. I ordered one item from Amazon. Out of all the time Amazon's been here, I could only find one thing, and that is the power cord I needed to power my camera because my batteries were going dead too quick. So I bought it off of Amazon, but that is the only time I will order anything off of Amazon. I refuse to buy anything from Amazon. I boycott Amazon. I don't even watch TV shows that are based off of Amazon. I don't do Amazon Prime or none of that crap. It says here, this is just the latest spat between Bezos and the Post union. The union for the workers of the Post. During the first contract negotiations back in 2014, Bezos and management cut employee retirement benefits. Right off the bat, you're gone. In September, Post Metro section reporters and union bargaining committee members, Union Post section reporter and union bargaining committee member Freddie Kunkel wrote an op-ed in Huffington Post, arguing that his paper's owners was sticking it to his workers. Kunkel argued that Bezos was trying to cover up his attempts to attack the union by touting his charitable giving. And see, that's what he does. That's what Jeff does. The owner of Amazon. Jeff touts how much he gives to charities to make himself look better. So whenever people come at him for how he treats his employees at Amazon, they're afraid to attack him because he does all that charitable giving. So it makes them look bad to attack a person that gives out to charities. But I'm not connected to nobody. I'm not connected to Amazon. I'm not connected to the charities. I'm not connected to nobody, but I'm connected to the truth and my YouTube videos. And Jeff, you're fair game as far as I'm concerned, because you single-handedly helped destroy Seattle, the city that I love. You have moved your big ass and your bald head into Seattle, and you have fucked over the employees there, and you have single-handedly drained every ounce of goodness that Seattle had. It's not just you. There's other people to blame too, but you stick out like a sore thumb. Why? Because you're that big box with a happy smile. Yeah, you're smiling because you're making all that money. There's people that are working for you that aren't smiling because they need a job and they're afraid to say something because they can't afford to lose their job, and you know that. Now, I'm going to contact Amazon tomorrow, and I'm going to ask for an exclusive with you, Mr. Jeff. I'm going to ask for an exclusive, and I'm going to talk to you about why you will not allow the employees to unionize. Maybe it's because you think that if you unionize, your profits will go down because you'll have to pay your employees more. And you won't be able to afford to sell the items, some of them as cheaply as you sell them for through Amazon. I get it. You can't afford to pay an employee $15 an hour when they're making tennis shoes that are going to pay less and people are buying them for $19. That can't be done. And I understand that. I do. But you're making billions of dollars off of America and various other countries that buy through Amazon and also sell through Amazon. You're making billions and billions of dollars. Every year you're making money hand over fist. I would think that you could afford to pay your employees a decent wage and give them a decent medical and a decent benefit package to keep them happy enough to not need to go union. If you don't like the unions, pay your employees to a point where they don't go union, because they'd be stupid to use a union because you treat them so well. Las Vegas, when I was there back in the early 90s, there was 2 casinos. One was the Frontier Hotel and Casino on the Vegas Strip. It was right down there by Circus. And the Circus and the Dunes, not the Dunes, but the Sands and the Starlight. It was there, and the casino didn't go union. But it didn't need to because it paid their employees medical and dental, paid leave if they were pregnant. Also, if you were sick, you got so many days off paid. You also got paid vacations, and you got a decent wage. So the employees would be stupid to go union, and the unions hated it. Now, I personally can't stand unions. I think unions are no good. I don't like the idea of people being forced into doing something. But if the majority of the workers at a particular place decide to go union, then I think they should be allowed to go union. Back in the day, unions were probably important because it helped keep the companies honest. You have workers, it kept you guys from making them work overtime without paying them. It kept you from turning them into slaves and making them work for slave wages. That was important. It says here, when Kunkel, the op-ed, however, was not a free, let's see here, the Post issued a formal warning to Kunkel. The Kunkel, he's the guy that worked for the Post and was also working for the union on the committee. It says the Post issued a formal warning to Kunkel claiming that he violated the paper's policy on freelancing. The op-ed, however, was not a freelance piece written as a reporter, but penned from Kunkel's position as a labor union officer. Union officers are allowed to engage in concerted activities in furtherance of the union's interest. The Washington Baltimore News Guild filed an unfair labor practice charge with the National Labor Relations Board in response to the claims by the Post that he had violated his job. The union has so far rejected management's proposal and demands management lift its November 1st acceptance deadline. Update. After this piece was published, a Washington Post spokeswoman emailed the Huffington Post to ask where the information about stars benefiting from pay systems that solely rely on merit-based judgments for pay raise comes from. She's doing a little snooping and digging to find out where they got their info on that. There you go, Jeff. Getting your people to do your backstabbing for you. The Post could simply look around. Newspapers' highest paid employees tend to be high-ranking editors and the most well-known writers. At the New York Times, op-ed writers like Tom Friedman are among the employees paid a six-figure salary, even though they pen columns which are sometimes about how they ate, too much marijuana, or enjoyed seeing a Bruce Springsteen in Europe concert once or twice a week. They basically wrote about nothing. They told their ideas and wrote their thoughts, and they still got paid a six-figure salary, just like everybody else. These employees are generally the most publicly well-known writers on staff and in a better position to demand a higher pay from management. This is a part of the commonly understood superstar effect that occurs when a small number of high performers, whether individuals or corporations, reap all of the profits, which means the better well-known you are, the more you get paid. Now, that happens in Hollywood on movies. If you're a movie star and you're on the set and you're a big star, you can get a lot more money than you can if you're a smaller name actor. Now, there was one particular movie that just came out recently, and I can't remember the name of it, but the actor, the main actor, gave the female co-star half of his money that he made from the film to balance out hers that she got, because she got paid considerably less because she was a woman, and he didn't think that was fair. So he gave half of what he made to her to balance out what she made. It says here, reporters and economists have noted this effect across industries from sports to music to movies to tech, and even among cities for decades. Additional studies examining corporate salaries systems that provide raises solely based on merit suggest that this practice can increase gender and race bias. Let me reread that. I read that wrong. Additional studies examining corporate salary systems that provide raises solely based on merit suggest that this practice can increase gender and race-based inequality. The Post already allows pay increases based on merit, or perhaps when they employed Chris Cillizza based on traffic, which the proposal from management will not change. Instead, their proposal will end routine annual raises for all workers. Efforts to end routine raises are a means of destroying the concept of collective bargaining for a union. The whole point of workers joining together in a union is to deliver benefits for all workers, not only the ones who show up on television the most. Which means that if you are the high and mighty, you make more money than the little peon, but the union wants an equal split for everybody involved, because it takes everybody involved to keep the ball rolling. The same thing as in Amazon. Now, I personally believe this, and this is my personal opinion, people that work the hardest in life should make the most money. The people that keep the roads going, people that patch the roads and fix the roads, people that drive the city buses, people that are in law enforcement. And I know law enforcement gets a bad rap, but they don't really get paid a whole ton of money each year. They're not high up, and firefighters don't really get paid a whole ton of money to work. Now, the ones that work the hardest to keep America running should be the ones that make the most money. The people that are sitting behind a computer doing hardly any work all day long, although what they do may be important, it's not as tough of a job as somebody who pours concrete for a living, fixing the sidewalks for the city, or putting in blacktop to keep the roads going, so that person sitting behind a computer making that $250,000 a year can get to work with very little distraction. Those are the forgotten man. Those are the ones that get fired on a Friday, and by Monday they're forgotten all about. Anyway, Jeff, I'm going to call Amazon tomorrow, and I'll do a follow-up video on this. I'm going to call Amazon, and I'm going to request that I do a one-on-one with you, especially for my particular YouTube video that I'm doing. This is as much about Seattle as it is a common guy and a common woman that's working for the common Joe and Jolene, working for Amazon, keeping you afloat, keeping you in that billion-dollar status, or that trillion, almost billions, billionaire status. So anyway, this has been All Things Considered, because I consider all things.